I'm hiking with my son in Twin Lakes, Colorado today. This is my favorite place on planet Earth, and we just hiked across the lake, and luckily the wind's died down a little bit more now. It's about 5 degrees out today. It's beautiful. In 2018, I wanted to commit another John Milton poem to memory, and I picked Lycidas. Lycidas is considered to be one of the greatest poems in the English language, certainly my favorite. John Milton wrote his prose and his poems in the mid-1600s in England, and he is considered to be the greatest of writers in the English language. And so it's such a great poem that I thought it should be committed to memory, and so as I am ending 2018, December 29th here, I thought I'd share with you Lycidas. Hopefully I can make it through it properly and not do it too much of a disservice. But here's Lycidas by John Milton. Yet once more, O ye laurels, and once more, ye myrtles brown with the ivy never sere, I come to pluck your berries harsh and crude, and with forced fingers rude shatter your leaves before the mellowing year. Bitter constraint and sad occasion dear compels me to disturb your season due, for Lycidas is dead, dead ere his prime, young Lycidas, and hath not left his peer. Who would not sing for Lycidas? He knew himself to sing and build the lofty rhyme. He must not float upon his watery bier, unwept and welter to the parching wind, without the meed of some melodious tear. Begin, then, sisters of the sacred well, that from beneath the seat of Jove doth spring. Begin, and somewhat loudly sweep the string. Hence with denial vain and coy excuse, so may some gentle muse with lucky words favor my destined urn, and as he passes turn, and bid fair peace be to my sable shroud. For we were nursed upon the self-same hill, fed the same flock by fountain, shade, and rill. Together both ere the high lawns appeared under the opening eyelids of the morn. We drove afield, and both together heard what time the grey fly winds her sultry horn, battering our flocks with the fresh dews of night, off till the star that rose at evening bright towards heaven's descent had sloped his westering wheel. Meanwhile, the rural ditties were not mute, tempered to the oaten flute. Rough satyr danced, and fawn with cloven heel from that glad sound would not be absent long, and old Demodus loved to hear our song. But oh, the heavy change, now thou art gone. Now thou art gone and never must return. Thee, shepherd, thee, the woods and desert cave, with wild thyme and gadding vine overgrown, and all their echoes mourn. The willows and the hazel copses green shall now no more be seen, fanning their joyous leaves to thy soft lays. As killing as the canker to the rose, or the taintworm to the weanling herds that graze, or frost to flower that their gay wardrobe wear when first the white thorn blows, such Lycidas thy loss to shepherd's ear. Where were ye, nymphs, when the remorseless deep closed over the head of your loved Lycidas? For neither were you playing on the steeps where your old bards the famous druids lie, nor in the shaggy top of Mona high, nor yet where Diva spreads her wizard stream. Hi, me, I fondly dream, had ye been there. For what could that have done? What could the muse herself that Orpheus bore, the muse herself for her enchanting son, whom universal nature did lament, when by the root that made the hideous roar, his gory visage down the stream was sent, down the swift Hebrus to the Lesbian shore? Alas, what boots it with incessant care to tend the homely, slighted shepherd's trade and strictly meditate the thankless muse? Were not better done as others choose to sport with Amaryllis in the shade or the tangles of Nerea's hair? Fame is the spur the clear spirit doth raise, that last infirmity of noble mind, to scorn delights and live laborious days, but the fair guerdon when we hope to find and think to burst out in the sudden blaze, comes the blind fury with the abhorred shears and slits the thin-spun life, but not the praise. Phoebus replied and touched my trembling ear. Fame is no plant that grows in mortal soil, nor in the glistering foil, set off to the world, nor in broad rumor lies, but lives and spreads aloft by those pure eyes and perfect witness of all judging Jove, as he pronounces lastly on each deed, of so much fame in heaven, expect thy meed. O fountain Erethus, and thou honored flood, smooth sliding Mincius, crowned with vocal reeds, that strain I heard was of a higher mood, but now my ode proceeds, and listens to the herald of the sea that came in Neptune's plea. He asked the waves and asked the felon winds, what hard mishap hath doomed this gentle swain? He questioned every gust of rugged wings that blows off each beaked promontory. They knew not of his story. And sage Epictetus his answer brings, that not a blast from his dungeon strayed. The air was calm, and on the level brine, sleek Panope with all her sisters played. It was that fatal and perfidious bark, built in the eclipse and rigged with curses dark, that sunk so low that sacred head of thine. Next, Camus, reverend sire, went footing slow, his mantle hairy, his bonnet sedge, and wrought with figures dim and on the edge, like of that sanguine flower inscribed with woe. Aye, who hath wreath, quoth he, my dearest pledge? Last came, and last did go, the pilot of the Galilean lake. 2 massy keys he bore of metals twain, the gold opes, the iron shuts amain. He shook his mitred locks and stern bespake, how well could I have spared for thee, young swain? And now, of such as, for their belly's sake, creep and intrude and climb into the fold. Of other care they little reckoning make than how to scramble at the shearer's feast and shove away the worthy bidden guest, blind mouths that scarce themselves know how to hold a sheep's hook, or have learnt aught else the least that to the faithful herdman's art belongs. What recks it them? What need they? They are sped, and when they list, their lean and flashy songs grate on their scrannelled pipes of wretched straw. The hungry sheep look up, and are not fed, but swollen with the wind and the rank mist they draw, rot inwardly and foul contagion spreads, besides what the grim wolf daily devours apace, and nothing said. But the two-handed engine at the door stands ready to smite once, and smite no more. Return, Alpheus, the dread voices pass that trunk thy streams. Return, Sicilian muse, and call the vales, and bid them hither cast their bells and flowerets of 1,000 hues. Ye valleys low, where the mild whispers use of shades and wanton winds and gushing brooks, on whose fresh lap the swart star sparely looks, throw hither your quaint enamelled eyes that on the green turf suck the honeyed showers, and purple all the ground with vernal flowers. Bring the wraith primrose that forsaken dies, the tough croto, the pale jasmine, the white pink, and the pansy freaked with jet, the musk rose and the well-attired woodbine, and every flower that sad embroidery wears, and bid amaranthus all his beauty shed, and daffodillies fill their cups with tears to strew the laureate hearse where Lycid lies. For so, to interpose a little ease, let our frail thoughts dally with false surmise, whilst thee the shores and sounding seas wash far away wherever thy bones are hurled, whether beyond the stormy Hebrides, where thou perhaps under the whelming tide visits the bottom of the monstrous world, or whether thou to our moist vows denied sleepeth by the fable of Belarus old, where the great vision of the guarded mount looks towards Namancos and Bayona's hold. Look homeward, angel, now, and milt with ruth, and O ye dolphins, waif the hapless youth. Weep no more, woeful shepherds, weep no more, for Lycidas your sorrow is not dead. Sunk though he be beneath the watery floor, so sinks the day star in the ocean bed, yet anon repairs his drooping head, and tricks his beams, and with new-spangled ore, flames in the forehead of the morning sky. So Lycidas sunk low, but mounted high, through the dear might of him that walks the waves, where other groves and other shores aloft, with nectar pure his oozy locks he laves, and hears the unexpressive nuptial song in the blessed kingdom meek of joy and love. There entertain him all the saints above, in solemn troops and sweet societies that sing, and in their singing move, and wipe the tears forever from his eyes. Now, Lycidas, the shepherds weep no more. Henceforth thou art the genius of the shore, in thy great recompense, and shalt be good to all that wander in that perilous flood. Thus sang the uncouth swain to the oaks and rills, while the still morn went out with sandals gray. He touched the tender stops of various quills, with eager thought warbling his Doric lay. And now the sun had stretched out all the hills, and now was set in the western bay. At last he rose, and twitched his mantle blue. Tomorrow to fresh woods and pastures new.